Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the DTB podcast, the #1 barber podcast on YouTube. If you don't know what our podcast is about, it's about entrepreneurship, it's about business, it's about lifestyle, it's about face. KO, let them know.
Let's go, DTB fam. We got episode 2 here, Wrist Flicking Up Sessions, Las Vegas, Nevada. We got one of Inland Empire's best, tax girl Pam in the house. Let's go.
Hey.
What's good, Pam? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. We are in Vegas. It's like a party here.
Yeah.
I love this place. I don't know why I haven't been here in previous years, but I'm coming every year.
Yeah.
That's it.
How did the connection between you and Bo get created?
We actually were neighbors at another event. He had his setup next to me, and I was next to him.
Oh, dope.
When he seen my booth, his eyes opened. He's like, "Oh my God, I need your help."
Damn.
And that's all I can say about that.
Pam, so tell us, Pam, what do you do and why do you do it?
All right, so I started my career in taxes about 17 years ago in the city of East Los Angeles. I applied for a job. I was a receptionist at a tax office. I got licensed. I started helping the owner with startup businesses and entry-level taxes.
Yeah.
And just getting to know the community. We helped a lot of small businesses, and to be honest, I didn't know exactly what we were doing, but I was my boss's right hand.
Yeah.
And the amount of respect and the amount of lives that you impact every day, I do it for the people. I do it to help people. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. And I feel like small businesses, they need a lot of help. You
They
know,
do.
and that's where you come into the game. You know. So, why do you think? What do you think is the limitation of our society? I don't know if. Like we always talk about it, Latinos, for some reason, business and taxes is that's our biggest fear. Like we don't want to jump into that, you know? So what do you think is stopping the community?
Education.
Education.
I was born in Mexico.
In Mexico?
I was born
What
in
part?
Mexico. I was born in Tijuana. My family's from Durango and Aguascalientes. And we all, my parents were here at 17 years old. I was a baby. So the opportunities that a lot of individuals that are U.S. citizens have, they don't take advantage of it. There's so much education out there. So I think that having the resources, lacking the resources and not having the proper information. Right now, TikTok is crazy with the amount of information. Some of it is good, some of it is trash.
I was going to tell you that. How much of that is true? Because I be seeing on TikTok, they're like, oh, you could write off your jacket. You could write off the Mercedes. And I know to a certain extent that most of that is not true. And if it is true, it's more complicated than when it is.
Most of it is clickbait.
Clickbait, okay.
But there are anything that is ordinary and necessary to a business, you're able to write it off. As long as you document everything.
Okay. So
That's
can
pretty
you
much what it
can you
is.
elaborate a little bit more if it's necessary?
Ordinary and necessary.
What determines what's ordinary and necessary?
So, all right, let's talk audits.
Audits,
right?
okay.
So you get your taxes done.
For those who don't know, what's the audit?
Audit is basically you get your taxes done.
Es la policía
Es
de
la
los
policía.
taxes.
Es el tío Sam.
El tío Sam.
So basically, you get your taxes done. You report your income. You report your expenses. If something is a little fishy, or if you're just the lucky chosen one, you're gonna get a letter. And on the top left, it's gonna say Internal Revenue Service. It might be an envelope that's like a standard size, or it might be like a letter size.
Yeah.
And it's a white envelope. Those are scary.
So when can the audit happen?
It could happen anytime.
At what point? Anytime.
It could happen anytime. And if you get audited for 1 year and the auditor notices something funny, they could go back as many years as they feel.
Damn.
So that's where I love to have the discussion with startup businesses, because people don't know that you should save your receipts. You should keep a diary. For example, I'm here in Vegas. This is a write-off for me, right?
Yeah.
So I gotta keep a diary. I gotta say where I went. I gotta keep the itinerary. And at the end of the year, just save it. Saving receipts, tracking things. If you're a startup business, you can do it yourself. If not, there are platforms like QuickBooks, Waves app, and or maybe your partner could help you.
What about Rocket Money? Does Rocket Money help a little bit?
use Rocket Money. Most of my clients are using QuickBooks.
QuickBooks, yeah, I use QuickBooks. So you say you keep a diary and a journal, right?
Yeah.
Is it enough to just not mixing your money?
Okay.
What if all the transactions are being done through one account?
So you should probably consider opening another account. January is around the corner. You don't want to commingle.
Commingle,
okay?
that's a special
You don't
word.
want to commingle. So if you have a business and you set up a DBA,
Yeah.
you want to have a bank account. If you have a bank account, maybe add a savings or a second checking to put some money away for taxes. You want to
Okay.
have income, expenses, savings account for taxes, and the way you should properly pay yourself if you are a DBA, write yourself a check, transfer some money. It's an owner draw.
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
way you spend your personal money from your personal account.
How does someone determine how much they pay themselves?
Well, it just depends how much you're making.
Okay.
So, I mean, you got to be realistic.
Yeah.
Most times, you're going to make money to pay the bills and you're going to probably invest your money back into the business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to be realistic because a lot of times I have clients that want to report losses. We're from California. The cost of living is crazy.
It's crazy
So
right now.
you're not going to be in business to lose money. And that's where people kind of have to think like, okay, I mean, the IRS is on Instagram. They're watching
Yeah,
you.
for real?
They know what you drive. If you Google your address right now on the Google Maps, you'll see probably a car in your driveway. You'll see what your neighborhood looks like. Have you guys ever Googled a home address?
Yeah. So you telling me that for everyone that's not aware of it out there, the IRS goes to the maps and be like, yo, you said you don't have a car, but there's 4 cars in your driveway. You're looking at 200,000 in your driveway right now.
And that's part of the audit, right?
Well, the thing is that you want to, I mean, if it's tax evasion, that means you're not reporting all of your income and you're living really flashy. So that's one thing that I tell like my people on Instagram, be careful what you post. Make sure what you're reporting is accurate. Save money, pay your taxes, write off everything accurately. But yeah, the IRS doesn't even need to leave the office anymore.
Yeah.
If it's serious and it's like a criminal investigation, they're gonna like know everything about you. They're gonna follow you on social media. They're gonna see how many bottles you're popping at the club.
Crazy.
Is this recent though, or because I want to believe that before COVID they weren't doing
No, they
this
were.
much. They were?
Yeah. So I went to an audit with the client, and the agent's like, I don't even need to leave my office anymore. Like they know what it is, and you're not only dealing with the IRS, you're also dealing with local agencies. So,
Okay.
for example, in LA we have taqueros everywhere, right? That
Yeah.
post up on the street.
Yeah.
Well, chances are they're not paying their taxes, right?
Yeah.
They're not registered. So
They
you
just
have
all
a
cash, right?
Yeah. So you have a no. Well, they take Zelle. They take everything
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
Look
Okay,
at
uh-huh.
Kenya, like they're
Yeah, that
ready.
is true. That is true.
So you have local enforcement. You have California Department of Tax and Fee Administration, and they're the ones that are collecting the sales tax from the businesses. So when you buy $100 at Walmart, you pay $110 depending on the tax rate, right?
Yeah.
So that's the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration. They're out there. They're out there having conversations with pop-ups. Like, oh, how many nights are you here? Oh, I'm here 5 days a week. Stop by. How many clients do you see? Like, how do you sell out? Yeah, I sell out every day. So a lot of these
Damn.
agents
They're
are
undercover.
out
They're
there.
like undercover?
Yes.
So do they go out once they already have a case and they're like, let's go search for this person and then we'll interrogate them? Or they're just like building rapport with everyone and then boom, they
I
lay
think
the
that-
book on you.
I think they're going after certain people, but the reality is they don't have the resources. But
see.
they are going out there. They are out there.
Wow, that's
The enforcement,
crazy.
yeah.
I'm gonna stop parking my car in front of my house, bro.
Park it in the neighbor's house.
And the thing about it is that, like, the IRS, whether it's legal or not, they want their money.
Yeah.
They want you to report. I mean, if you look up, people in pharmaceuticals, like, you should be reporting whether you're legal or not. You still got to be reporting.
How many years can the business go without getting audited?
It's not realistic. It just
realistic?
depends.
It can happen in your first year.
It could. Yeah. It could.
So
It's
there's
just
no
a lucky draw.
limitations.
Like, no, there's no. You could get audited for 1 year randomly, and again, if you go and you don't get the proper representation, you could be on the hook for many other years if they notice something funny. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So we're here at a barber event, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of barbers are definitely confused about doing taxes. I feel like 80% of the barber industry doesn't report taxes.
Yeah.
And they don't do it because of lack of knowledge.
Correct.
Or not having the right resources, or just simply growing up in a household that just doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't know the benefits of it. So what would you tell a barber in the industry if they're starting? They're let's just say they're in barber school. Let's paint a scenario right now. They're in barber school. They just jumped into a barber shop. They got about 2-3 months working. They're making money. How do they get started with someone? Just see a tax person?
Basically, yeah, you want to have a tax consultant that specializes with small business and startups. There are a lot of tax professionals that are just like W-2 tax preparers. So you want to definitely make sure you interview the person, you ask your questions, and follow your instinct. If you feel that's not the right person, get a second opinion.
Wait, so there's a tax preparer and then there's a tax consultant.
Well, it's the same thing. The thing is the level of experience.
Okay.
You might have someone that has a tax preparer business card, but they're new. They might not have the experience, right?
Yeah, because I heard that someone told me your tax preparer is not your accountant. And I feel like that's where a lot of people go wrong, where they think the tax guy is the accountant and the professional and the finances, but he's just trying to get your taxes done.
Well,
you know?
what a tax preparer does is they'll put your tax puzzle together. So during the year, you should have bookkeeping. You should have some type of a way of maintaining your records, so that when you come in, you bring a profit and loss, a balance sheet. You can use the resources online like QuickBooks or Waves app.
Yeah.
And again, if you're not in a position to hire a freelance person, then go on Excel, get a notebook. It's all about documentation.
Go on YouTube, right?
Go on
So-
YouTube.
and going back to his question, so what is the first step a barber should do once he's out of barber school,
Yeah.
once he starts working? What do you advise him to do to
So-
be financially prepared?
What I do when a lead comes in, I basically analyze the budget. Like, hey, are you on a DBA budget or are you on an LLC budget? So depending the cost, I'll let them know. Most times they're starting, so it's a little difficult. So I always encourage at least a DBA, which is a doing business as. You're using your social. You're not officially an LLC yet. There's still liability.
And the DBA will be a 1099?
Yeah.
That'll be a 1099.
So you could file self-employed taxes without a 1099. You could be that includes your cash, your Zelle, your Venmo, your PayPal.
You do it already.
Yeah. So that's a self-employed form. So first thing I tell them is, okay, what's your budget? Set up accordingly, whether it's a DBA or LLC. Go to the bank of your choice. Get 2 bank accounts, one for income, one for savings, expenses, stuff like that. Start saving your receipts. Start going through them weekly or monthly or whatever. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
That's the part.
What I was gonna tell
That's
you, like,
crazy.
about-
Imagine documenting everything. Like, hey.
What are your novias doing?
Well, that's
Can
what
they
I was
help?
saying.
What are they doing?
I know, but that's what I was saying. Like, do you need the receipts?
You do.
Or like me, I use QuickBooks, right?
Yeah.
In QuickBooks, you get to categorize it, right?
Correct.
You get to categorize
It's a chart of accounts.
podcast, traveling meal,
Correct.
podcast equipment, traveling and meals expenses. So,
Yeah.
isn't QuickBooks enough? You
Well,
still need the
no.
receipts?
You still need the receipts because let's just put it this way. Where do you guys buy your supplies?
Guitar
Depends, right?
Center,
Okay.
yeah.
Guitar Center,
Yeah.
Amazon.
So what if I went to Guitar Center to buy something for me personally, right? So the statement will show Guitar Center, right? But you need the receipt to back up
Like
the
headphones.
proof. Yes.
But
Yeah.
how many times? So how many times does it really go that deep?
Well, the thing is, when you get audited, you'll print out your profit and loss, which you're familiar with on QuickBooks,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna need the receipts. So when you come to see someone like me, I don't need to see the receipts. You gotta save them. So buy a scanner, take a picture.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Damn.
Y'all
And
hear?
then-
You guys hear
and
this, yo?
Anytime they ask you for them, we call it audit proof. You just print them all out.
Yeah, that's something I haven't been doing,
Yeah, because
but
the receipts are gonna fade.
yeah.
So take a picture. So like, I don't know, I use the Google Drive a lot. It's a cloud-based, on Google. You make a folder for like 2024 with 12 folders inside January, February, March. All you gotta do is take a picture, like the way you do for like
Yeah.
social media. Take a picture of your receipt, then you could throw your receipt away.
Apple, you could scan the whole document now.
You just have to save it where you're gonna find it.
Yeah, correct. So I was gonna tell you.
Yeah.
Let's paint the scenario, right?
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically,
it's not
We
me.
know somebody.
It's not me,
My
but
deal.
it's someone that I know.
one of my clients.
They didn't save their receipts for the first 2 years, and now they start, right? Let's say they get audited, and they have enough to prove for 1 year, like the third year, but not the first 2 years. What will happen there?
It just depends with the auditor. It just depends. It just depends on the auditor. But you gotta have. So that's why a lot of times, I don't know if you guys know, like you go and check out, just always get your email receipt.
Might as
Get the
well,
email
huh?
receipt.
Might as well.
Like
Yeah.
no one wants paper. I go to the post office and I ship things. I don't get paper. I put email.
Put email and then make
Just
sure
save
it's
it.
the email of your business.
Correct.
And it was separated by itself,
and
right?
if you ever need to search something, I mean, but then there's people like, well, I delete everything on my email. Well, then, you know, you gotta save it.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
crazy, bro.
It
Like
is.
documenting everything. But I feel like once you start doing those type of things, you feel more like ahead of the game, accomplished. You're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I'm actually moving up the ladder now.
Yeah, so I have a client, he's actually a barber. What he does, he has one of those crates. He just throws everything in there, and then, you know, he has his girlfriend just separate everything, start taking pictures of things and putting it away. That's it.
Yeah, that's a secretary.
The secretary,
That's
yeah.
crazy, bro.
Yeah. And then also, too, I wanted to add, taxes are important. I don't know, in California, if you're undocumented, you could become a licensed barber, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you ever want to fix legal status, you want to make sure you have your taxes done. You want to be right with Uncle Sam. You want to get your ITIN number. ITIN number is basically it's a number that you get when you are not eligible for a Social Security number.
Social Security,
Yeah.
Yeah. So we help a lot of people in that predicament. And there's two types of people. There's the Latino that if I tell them, hey, you know what, this year you owe 100, he'll be like, mándales 200, send them 200. And I'm like, they just want 100.
They just want 100.
And then we have the other ones like, oh my God, I owe 100. Why?
Yeah,
So, you know, everybody pays taxes. So.
Yeah. Going back to that, at the barbershop, they tell me, this is how they tell me, like, you pay taxes? You stupid. Like, why you paying taxes? Why? And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, little do they know. Yeah, like for me, it's like, okay, you gotta play by the rules of the game, right?
You gotta pay to play.
Yeah, you gotta pay to play,
Yeah.
and that's how the tax system was made for, you know. And if you play it right, you could write off a lot of stuff. You could still prove that your business is profitable, and you become bankable, and you create leverage to get loans, business loans,
Under your
house
EIN?
loans. Under your EIN.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, and then if you ever want to build your real estate portfolio, if you ever want to buy commercial property, you should have a friend that is a tax consultant. You should have a friend that's like a mortgage expert on loans, because I was able to build my real estate portfolio. I have rentals in a couple of states, and I mean, we work so hard, and some people don't have anything to show.
Yeah.
And you know, you could have the newest BMW with like a $1,500 note, but the moment you stop paying it, it's not yours, it's the bank. So you want to own things like real estate. You want to not pay rent. You want to buy your commercial buildings.
Correct.
You know, so yeah.
How expensive is a license? The type of license that you have. How expensive? Because I looked into it. It was a tax consultant / CPA.
Yeah.
And the program was $8,000. I don't know if you know Mark J. Coher.
I know Mark Kohler very well.
Okay, his program. I was in my program.
So that is for someone that's already in the industry and wants to get their continued education.
Yeah.
So in order to get to Mark Kohler, shout out to Mark Kohler, by the way.
Yeah.
I've been to some of his events. I went on my first like luxury yacht with him in Brickell in Miami Beach. So that man's on another level. I love Mark Kohler. He is like a mentor to me.
Yeah, I saw him at a business expo.
Yeah.
And KO, he was teaching you how to pay your own kid
Oh yeah.
move the payment to like a Ross.
Well, that's amazing
And that's like
information.
level like.
Yeah, so there's definitely levels. What I focus is on the entry level because you want to make sure that everybody at least gets set up the right way. So once you start making too much money, you want to get into the tax saving strategies.
Yeah.
That's what Mark Holler's all about.
Correct.
Yeah.
How much money are you supposed to be making to be playing in that ball game already?
So if you want to be like an S corp, you have to be netting at least like 50,000 to avoid paying the self-employment tax and making the S corp election.
Yeah.
It just depends. Every client is very unique, and we definitely listen to everybody to tailor what they need.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
I've had friends who they try to accelerate the process and they get an S corp.
Yeah, they jump ahead.
They jump too quick and it backfires on them.
It does, because in order to be an S corp, there are requirements. So S corp is great. I'm an S corp.
Yeah.
But I have employees. I have payroll. An S corp will not pay taxes. They'll pay their state taxes. But you'll have a K1, and if you're not doing it right and you're skipping steps, the S corp could be revoked. Yeah, and then you're liable for taxes that you didn't pay.
Damn.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of times people come in like, I already have my S corp, and I'm like, you just started, and it's so sad because there's a lot of people in the industry like me that just want to sell people something that they don't need. And then, you got to dissolve it. Right now we have the BOI requirement through Fenton.
The BOIR?
BOI.
Oh, BOI.
Yeah, so Fenton, they're requiring entities to register. Otherwise, there's a $595 daily penalty.
I just did mine.
Good.
Like
It's super easy.
Last Tuesday. Yeah, it was like 10
Yeah,
minutes.
but a lot of people are not gonna do it because they don't know, right? So what we do is we have our list of our clients, and we send courtesy emails like, hey, don't forget this. We're available if you need us. Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
What's that for? Is that like a requirement or what?
Yeah, it's basically people that are money laundering. They just want to know who owns the entity.
They just want to know who owns the business.
Yeah.
So like if I have, for example, my company's name, DTB Prophetic, right? They want to know who's behind it.
Yeah.
So which is Diego Mendoza. Like I'm the one behind it.
You gotta upload your ID, your
ID, social.
But
all
don't they
that.
know that when you like register for your business license and all that,
Not
like it's not
necessarily.
registered to
No,
yourself, right?
Necessarily. The IRS will know more, but on the state level, they're very limited.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
this
I
is just like
see.
an extra step. Yeah, so right now that's really big. And there's a lot of people doing things online and aren't doing it right. And the moment they miss something, it's going to backfire. Because the first thing they're going to do is charge you penalties, fees, and you're just starting. So don't cut corners. I had a guy, he started online, and it was a third world country. So when he needed help, no one was there to help him. So you definitely want to deal with a human that you could call.
Wow.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
That's crazy. You know what's crazy? My sister is my tax prepper.
That's good.
She does taxes. She's been in the game for 10 years.
That's dope. Where's she out of?
LA.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
out of Signal Hill.
Okay.
She's out of Signal Hill, so she helped me set my whole business up for when I opened up my barber shop. She helped me with that, and it was just like she just facilitated
lucky.
everything for me.
Yeah.
That I kind of wanted to struggle with it, but she helped me so much that sometimes I'm like, wait, I need to call her and be like, hey, are we
What
in
did you
line
do?
with all
What did we
this and
do?
all that?
Yeah.
So
For sure.
that's a great asset in my family.
Yeah.
So shout outs to her, Crystal
Shout out
Murguia,
to
the tax prepper over there in Signal Hill.
Yes.
So I'm gonna shoot you her Instagram. Maybe you guys can link up and talk about she's just you reminded me of her
really?
a lot when you came up and stuff. So that it's always good to have people like that in your circle.
For sure.
Because that you're gonna run into something. You're gonna run into something,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
it's always good to get someone trustworthy to give you the knowledge, because everybody's out here. I mean, there's just a lot of snakes out there, a lot of
There
sharks,
are.
So
Unlicensed,
you gotta be,
unethical.
you gotta be knowledgeable enough to know and not to get effed over, I feel.
I have a lot of people that meet people and they don't even do the job. If there are any red flags that I could warn you guys about,
What are some red flags?
red flags, maybe someone not working at an office, not to throw shade on people that work virtually, But a lot of times, if you pay this person, they're gone. Where are you going to find them, right?
Yeah.
So there are resources online. You go to the IRS website. There's a PTIN search engine. So if someone's licensed, you'll be able to find them on there. Same thing with California. They're registered with CTEC. You're able to type the name and you'll be able to see. Yeah, and then making payments through Cash App, not getting an invoice. You know,
Yeah.
so if you guys are ever working with somebody that's a professional, I always ask for people to invoice me, and then I'll pay you, you know,
Yeah.
once I see the invoice and who I'm paying.
Pat-
It makes me feel more comfortable.
Correct. Pam.
Yeah.
So the license that you're talking about, is that the one Mark Coher offers?
No,
What does he offer?
it's continued education. So he has a certification program.
So where do we get certified?
So basically, you need to know what your state requires. I actually have a course. I am also selling professional tax software. I'm helping individuals start their tax business. So I could talk to you a little bit more about that later. But basically, you got to search your state requirements. You're going to get your IRS PTIN number. It just depends. I mean, some like Texas, Florida, they don't have many requirements. So you could just pay the IRS X amount, get a number to do taxes, and that's the scary part. Because even here in Nevada, like you don't need to have much education. You could just go on the IRS website, pay like $20 for a number, and call yourself a tax preparer.
Damn.
So
Wow.
California is really strict, and you could ask your sister about that. We have a agency that regulates.
But
our-
you're a tax preparer, or
I am
what?
licensed state and federal. I'm not a
State and
CPA.
federal. You're not a CPA.
No, I'm not a CPA.
So can you explain to the audience what's the difference
there's a-
between the CPA and the tax
Yeah.
preparer?
So certified public accountant. Some of them prepare taxes, some of them don't. It's just, you know, they're maybe in auditing, financials, just different services. You know, and that's why you want to have the conversation with your tax consultant to be like, okay, what's your niche? Like, what is it that you focus on? You know, what do you help? Like, I know I'm startup. I have some clients that are in the entertainment industry, influencers, social media, and I help them with the foundation. That's where I focus on.
Okay.
And then once they get to different level and they need a tax planning strategy, we have our in-house CPA that we send them to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Pam,
Yeah.
what state is the best state right now to get these tax loopholes? Maybe not pay too much taxes. What state
So
would you say?
I'm eyeing Tennessee.
Tennessee?
Yeah.
We out there,
Arizona's
KO. We
good.
out there.
Tennessee, Arizona. I would say Florida, but look at what happened.
I was gonna tell you, I heard Florida is really good,
yeah,
man.
but look at that.
Yeah.
I'm good. They got people with crocodiles in their living room, like.
Oh yeah.
And then,
I
you know,
know.
Texas once in a while gets hit with some crazy stuff too. So it just depends. I mean, I like Arizona. I like Tennessee.
What about Nevada? Like,
I'm a gambler, so it wouldn't work out for me.
but
like,
for
it
for
just
example, like
depends.
I have a client that he's an attorney, right?
Yeah.
And he actually registered his business now in Nevada
Yeah.
to avoid paying California taxes.
Yeah.
So he has an apartment over here, and like his apartment is like his office supposedly, but
Yeah.
he's really working in
You're like
fucking
putting your
California,
lore-
bro.
Hey, is
Yo,
it-
that shit blew my mind, and I was like, yo,
isn't there
how
a
is that?
specific word for that?
Well,
What's
most
that?
times what's going to happen is if you're operating in California is going to find out. And you
Yeah.
still have to pay some type of tax. So, I mean, depending on, so a lot of times people think, oh, I want to open up a LLC in Wyoming, or, you know, they hear a lot of TikTok strategies and stuff.
Or Puerto
But
Rico, Costa Rica, or something like that.
Just, you got to open where you're at. You got to get educated. You got to get situated with your expenses and organizing them. That way, I mean, there's so many like hurdles when you're doing things funny.
Yeah. Have you heard of the term nomad?
Nomad.
Nomad? It's people who do business like that.
Yeah.
But you have to actually go live in Europe for 6 months.
Yeah.
Or go live in Brazil
Yeah.
for 6 months to be able to
Take advantage of the.
advantage of the tax system.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the stage. I mean, I'm not
Yeah,
there
the
yet.
stage are good.
I'm good.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah,
So many things. Yeah.
I believe that, you know, if you play your cards right, like you're supposed to, like there shouldn't be anything, you know, to worry about.
For
you
sure.
know, like there's a term in Spanish called "el que nada debe, nada teme." So if you don't owe, like
Y lo barato sale caro.
exactly,
That's so true.
so
Yeah.
You know what's interesting, that I remember when before I got married, I had to humble myself and be like, you know what? I don't know about finances, right? And I met a barber in Florida. I don't know if you're familiar with him. His name is Chris Basio.
Okay.
He started this whole CPA program that I'm in.
Uh-huh.
And when he told me the price, I'm just like, damn. Going back to what you said, lo barato sale caro, I was just like, damn, what you mean I'm gonna be paying this much a month? Like, at first I was like, I don't think it's worth it. Because I didn't know, right? But I've been in the program a year and a half, and it's worth it.
Yeah.
You're paying a couple $100s a month,
Yeah.
but it helps you be at peace with your
For
finances.
sure.
You know?
So what is he providing?
He's providing bookkeeping,
Okay.
taxes, entity creation, and then just quarterly meetups
Okay.
and focus groups.
Yeah, that's good. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you want that support. That's
Yeah.
a write-off too.
Yeah,
That's like
it's a
someone
write-off.
on your team.
Correct.
Yeah. And if you ever have questions,
You could
he's
go to him.
available.
The thing, yeah, it helps a lot, honestly. My thing is like going back to what KO said. He was like, "Oh, I want to suffer by myself too, learning all this." I think it's important that there's someone doing the paperwork for us, but it's important for us to know what's happening too. You know?
Absolutely, but at the end of the day, for example, me, I don't do my taxes. I have my CPA do it. I love what I do. I'm here to help the people. And sometimes, you got to focus on your money-making activities. Like if this is your bread and butter, absolutely like learn about things, but I wouldn't focus too much on it because your job is to probably delegate things to people.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just focus on coming to events like this, meeting people, shaking hands, helping people, and I delegate things to my team.
Dope.
You know? So
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I went grocery shopping.
Damn.
I delegate that too.
Yeah.
Because you want to focus on the money-making activities.
Correct.
Yeah. So,
Pam,
yeah.
before we close it up,
Yeah.
what's the biggest misconception regarding taxes for small businesses?
There's so many, but I would say it's not important to file your taxes or report anything. That's the biggest misconception because what's going to happen is the moment you want to go get a car, you want to rent an apartment, you want to rent a commercial space, we need to see that 1040. And a lot of times people don't think that cash is king, but it won't get you far,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. KO, any last questions that you have?
Yeah, what are the 3 biggest tips you give to barbers in regards to taxes and CPA and just getting all your financials together?
So basically, take notes. Make sure you get a consultation with somebody that you feel is qualified, and follow your instinct. If you don't feel like that person is 100%, get a second opinion. 2, just know that you should have a business bank account. If someone tells you otherwise, run. And 3, get familiar with estimated tax payments on a quarterly basis.
Quarterly basis, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
To save on the taxes, right?
Yeah, no, you don't save. You pretty much trick yourself. If you owe $10,000 a year, you should have been paying $2,500 every quarter. So it's just a way to not feel that $10,000 punch at the end. So you guys could save paying all at once by paying every quarter.
Oh.
So, yeah.
So, what are some software apps that people could use?
So, QuickBooks
Intuit.
has a fee, but there is another platform that I like, and it's integrating with your banks. If you're using like the big banks, it's called Waves app.
Yeah.
It's like the ocean waves.
Waves,
WAVES. And you could start a free account for bookkeeping. It prints amazing profit and losses. You could get a balance sheet on there. They have great YouTube tutorials. They make money off of invoicing, so if you're not going to get the invoicing part of it, that's fine. The bookkeeping is available. And then also, there are going to be a lot of changes with the 1099s. So just be careful, with the Zales and all that. It's a hot topic. Make sure you guys are getting familiar with how to report all of your income, whether it's cash, QuickBooks, Zelle, Cash App. I mean, PayPal now, you can collect payments through PayPal, QuickBooks, you can invoice. A lot of people are like, oh, I only have to report this, right? You should be reporting everything that your business generates.
Wow.
Pam, last question for me, right?
All right,
Personal.
let's see.
If the same program that I'm in Florida,
Yeah.
I want to build my own program here in Cali where
Yeah.
I want to help barbers
For sure.
with their finances, and I want to create a agency. What steps would you recommend me to take?
You're gonna definitely have to come up with some type of like, I would say like a manual, to know exactly how you're gonna have your onboarding.
Get certified for sure.
You want to make sure you get certified. You want to make sure you know what you're talking about. I would say stick to entry level, and the more you learn as you go. You're gonna need a system. How is it that you're going to be dealing with these individuals? How are you going to start them off? So many things, but definitely, I mean, get a notebook and start writing everything down just like you started with this other gentleman.
Yeah, dope. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You gave us a lot of gems,
I
man.
know, so
a lot
much.
of gems.
Yeah,
today.
a lot of gems here, Pam.
Thank
we want
you.
we want to let audience know where they could find you in case they need some knowledge, in case they need some tips and someone to help them out with their, startup business.
For sure.
The camera's right there.
Yes.
Let them know your Instagram, where to find you at.
Hey everybody, this is Pam, TaxGirl626. That's where you can find me on Instagram. You guys can send a DM. You can hit the link on the bio. We have our email. We have our other platforms where you can find us. If you have any questions, just feel free to reach out. We're available.
You heard it from the best.
Hey.
Pam from
Pam in the
the IE.
house.
Let's
Yes.
go. The best tax prepper. Let's
Oh
get
my
it.
God, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Stay down, came up, God made a way.